Hello. You guys have waited so patiently, but we are finally getting to answering your questions. But one surprise you guys have been asking for forever. And I mean forever. And the last time we did an interview, my husband said something you guys wanted him to say. But we took it an extra step further this time. So, without further ado, give to you.
Merry Christmas. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
We painted in blue, is what we did.
It's the first time I'm seeing it.
I know. We have some great behind the scenes stuff that we filmed that we're going to put on our YouTube.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
I know, he's Ricky Bobby. Here, you can do.
No, that's glass. It'll be fine.
Okay. But yeah, originally we were going to wait until I hit 500,000 followers to paint in blue. But we figured, why? We have so many of you who have been along for the ride for so long, and we're so grateful. So we figured, screw it, we're painting in blue now. Pretty damn good Christmas present, I think. It's so weird to see you blue.
How do you think I feel? I'm seeing myself.
I know.
The dog's freaking out.
Florence has been freaking out a little bit, I won't lie. She's looking at us like, what are you guys doing? This is weird. Anyways, so we are going to get to your questions one by one. And if I don't get to your question in this, or if I missed it, please just send me a message and let me know. We looked at so many of the different, look at the table. We did so many of the, like we looked at all of the social medias and really tried to make sure we got all of the questions. So some of them were about the same question, maybe phrased a little differently, so we did combine. But anyways. All right, so number one, how did you meet and how long did you know each other before getting together? So we met at the gym, and then he ended up, our dog's going to bring some squeak toys. We met at the gym, and then he ended up moving in 3 doors down from me when he got his divorce. So, yeah. And then how long did we know each other before we got together?
We knew of each other for a while.
Yeah, because it
like
was
years.
Yeah, it's like,
but it wasn't really like we didn't really know each other,
right?
Until I moved in. So
yeah,
a few months.
Yeah, because the first time that like we got introduced was through Charlie, I think.
Probably.
Yeah, and so yeah, that was a few years. So yeah,
right.
I was a trainer at the gym that he belongs to. So
belonged to.
Oh yeah, he works at home now. So why not? But anyway, all right.
People laugh at me when I go out in public. I don't know why.
I don't know why they would either. I mean, I think it looked great. What is our favorite thing to do as a couple?
Golf.
That was very quick. I was thinking of something else, but we can't really.
We can't talk about that on. There might be kids watching.
Yeah.
Golf.
Yes. That is very true. Golf, yes. Golf is our favorite thing to do together as a couple. Yeah. And the other thing we can't talk about. Something you don't like to do together. So I guess this question would go into the next question, which is like favorite individual hobbies. So like something that you like to do, something I like to do that, you know.
I like to golf.
But I like to do that too.
I like to cook.
Yeah.
And I never want help when I'm cooking because I kind of just do it the way I want to do it.
And when I try to help, I'm just in the way. And so he'll stop and stare and look at me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm getting out of the way.
It's not even you're in the way. It's just I don't go by a plan. I don't go by a recipe. I'm just kind of doing what I'm doing, and every time it's different. So yes, if you're technically in the way, I'll just be like, well, I need to be there. I didn't know I needed to be there.
Right.
So yeah, it's just something I enjoy, and then luckily it's decent, so she eats it.
Yeah, he's a very good cook. Very good at improvising. I like to bake. I don't bake often, but I've baked a lot more in the last couple weeks because Christmas. And I tried out some new recipes. Those are pretty good. Mm-hmm. Our building likes them, so that's great. But But the other thing that I like to do, you don't like to do. I don't know. What do I do?
I do a lot of cool stuff, so.
We both do so much cool stuff. I don't really know.
I don't really think there's one thing that you're like, oh, I'm going to go do this. And I'll be like, all right, cool, have fun. I mean, besides like the spa or the nails, I'm not doing that.
Well, right. But
that's not really a hobby. I
No.
don't think there's really anything that we just don't like to do together.
Go downtown.
Oh, I'm not going downtown. No, I'm not going downtown.
Yeah, right. Well, because we live in St. Louis, and so anytime there's something downtown or even closer to downtown, he's out. Unless there's like a group of us going somewhere, he does not like to go downtown. So I guess that would be it. So anything closer to St. Louis than we currently are is usually out. Okay. All right. Got those two. I think we pretty much answered those. Do you ever fight, or do you just have the perfect marriage?
I don't know if we fight. We get in disagreements.
Yeah. We disagree, or we'll have like an argument. But
I mean, I guess you could consider an argument a fight, but it's not really like, I don't even know if we argue. Like,
right. We're pretty good at this point of knowing when the other has had enough. Like when they're at their limit of, I'm done talking about this. Like we can either revisit this later, but in the moment, like we're pretty good at that, I feel like.
Yeah, and if it matters, then it comes back up, and if it doesn't matter, then it just kind of goes away.
Right, exactly. So we definitely have disagreements. I would not say that we fight, especially anymore.
Yeah.
Because we really only fought about one thing. But anyway. So yeah.
But it's not there's no perfect marriage.
Right.
You get into a relationship or a marriage that works for you.
Right.
It might be perfect for us.
Right.
From where we were coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no perfect. Everybody's is different. You just make it work.
Yeah.
For yourself.
Right.
As she spills.
I don't even know how I did that. Like I don't know. Okay, anyway. It's a good thing I have a rag here. Anyway. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So this one's kind of a two-parter. But first one, is getting yelled at in a relationship normal? And I would say that depends, because every couple is different.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone grows up in a different type of family. So like if you grow up in a family just that's full of yellers because they're just passionate people, then yelling is normal. It's not necessarily considered toxic. I think for us, yelling is not good. We don't yell. We raise our voice. We'll raise our voice, I feel like.
I thought that was yelling.
Okay, well, I don't know. Like the way I think about yelling is like hardcore, like Italian families yelling at each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's.
Can't say
that. Why? You've seen my big fat Greek wedding? Oh, that's Greek. That's not.
We're gonna have to restart this whole thing.
No.
Getting yelled at in a relationship is normal. Like she said, it's normal for some people. It's not for others. But the yelling there's got to be context to it.
Yeah.
Like if there's a reason for somebody to be yelling, like if somebody really screwed up and they yell and they get it out of their system and then they, calm down and then they talk about it. Like in the moment, I get you might yell a little bit. We don't. Like that's just, we just don't for whatever reason. But if the context isn't there, like if you're getting yelled at because you dropped an egg on the floor and, you're just so clumsy and you're stupid and all this stuff and the name calling and all that goes with it.
Right.
If that's normal, that's fucked up.
Right.
That should not be normal, but just yelling at each other and then you come back and talk about it. Yeah. It's just whatever works for you. If that works for you.
Yeah.
It does.
Well, and one thing I think that we kind of established early on is yelling was an issue, but swearing. When
swearing's fine. Name calling is I'm out.
No. But like early on, I would say, like don't swear. Like don't swear at me. Mm-hmm. Like when you're mad at each other, we don't name call, and we do our best not to swear at each other, because usually like if a swear word ends up in there, it's not at the other person. It's more just out of frustration, or we're not like swearing at them. And
I swear too much anyway. So,
well, right. Well, yeah,
like
we
in
both
my normal conversation, it happens.
Exactly.
But yes, I know what you're saying. Is cursing at someone and just cursing is two different things. So
yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the second part of this question, and to the point that you just made, if your partner used to call you names, so name calling, no, toxic. But if your partner used to call you names in a fight, but no longer does, would you consider that progress?
100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because they are trying to change a behavior that you have set a boundary, that this is not okay, and they're respecting it. Because they can still have their feelings about whatever you guys are disagreeing with. They can still, if you're fine with yelling, they can still yell. But if they're not calling you names because you've asked them not to, with all of that, 100%.
And if that's the first step, then set another boundary. If you're looking for them to get even better, set another boundary and see how that goes.
Exactly. And so yes, that would be progress. But also, it's only progress if it's lasting. Now, I get everyone is human. So let's say they make this progress and it's 3 months later and they slip up, but they catch it right away and they apologize. You have to figure out, was this just a mistake and they're really trying, or are they now regressing?
Right.
And you'll know what the difference is for sure. I think that's pretty good. Okay, those two. Okay. When you first started dating, how did he handle your trauma and triggers?
Just talked about it. Like there's no magic potion. Like you literally just, if you care about the person, you talk about it. If you don't care about the person, you walk away. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And that goes both sides, though. She had to be willing to talk to me about it. If she would have just blown it off and walked away, then she'd have blown it off and walked away. I'm not going to chase her for that. So It goes both sides.
Right.
But if you care about either side, if you care about the person, you're going to be willing to talk about it.
Yeah, agreed. Because I felt like I wanted him to understand why I was doing something or why I reacted the way I was. One, and I'll admit, sometimes I was probably trying to justify what I was triggered about. And he would then explain, this part is not my fault. This part, I'm sorry for, and I can't really give like a specific example, but we both owned up to whatever upset the other person. You know what I mean? Like, if you did something to upset me to start that, you would apologize for that. But my reaction to whatever that was needed work too. And you helped me through that part, I feel like.
Sure.
I hope that was not confused. Was that confusing?
Mm.
Hopefully that wasn't too confusing of an answer. Anyway, we're going to check that one off as answered. How did you know he was the one, and vice versa? People ask that question to every couple. I feel like, how did you know they were the one? And I don't know that there was a point where I was just like, oh, yes, 100%. But immediately I knew he was different in a good way. And I think within the first couple months, I had to remind myself, like, he is not in love with me. We just met, because he was helping me with, I don't know, things around my house, or just he was at the store, hey, do you need something? And none of my exes ever did that. Even the non-toxic one. So it was very abnormal to me. So he was already doing things that I was like, what's happening here? Why he doesn't expect things from me for doing this? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure like my words are actually making sense, because I talk in circles a lot. So there's a reason why I edit my videos. But yeah, so same question.
I don't think there's one thing. Like it's not like we met and then like we were both bam. Like you just get to the point where you want to spend more time with the person than without the person. It's not. I mean, it's just everything you do and everything. Everything works.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay. Next one. How long does it take to make your videos?
Today, a while.
This one took a while. For a lot of different reasons, but in my normal videos, it really depends because sometimes I'll make them over the course of a couple days. Other times, if I'm making it all at the condo, then probably close to an hour at least. Like,
I have no idea.
From start to finish, from film to post, I would say minimum an hour because editing down the videos, I gotta play all the parts. You're very still.
I feel like my face is gonna crack if I move my face too much.
Oh my god!
Like my eyes feel better when they're like this.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I would say minimum an hour to 3 hours, honestly, because I'm never usually just like once I'm done filming, I'll go do something else, and then once I'm editing, like we'll be watching TV or like we'll be talking or something like that. So that answers that question. It's a process. Do you ever get messaged by toxic people wanting you to stop calling out their behaviors and stop making your videos?
No comment.
Yes.
Let's just say yes.
We're going to say yes.
And
we're going to move on.
I'm not sure. Yes.
Yes. Next question. Have you ever had any exes come out about your videos?
Come out at? That's how it wrote?
Have you ever had comment? Yeah, I don't know how I wrote come at. But let me restart the question. Have you ever had any exes comment about your videos?
That's you. I don't know that.
You do know that.
I'm assuming it's yes.
Yeah. Yes. The answer to that is yes. I don't know if you can hear our dog, but our dog knows too. Okay, Florence knows. But yes, so that's all I'm gonna say about that. And we're gonna keep going.
We don't want anybody's lawyers calling us. We don't want any. What was all those threats?
Well, they can call us. They can threaten us.
All kinds of legal threats. That were a bunch of BS. But yeah, we don't need to get into that.
That was a really good time. Really fun. Yeah, Florence knows. Florence knows.
Come here. Good girl. Hi. Good girl. It's okay. Good girl.
She's really upset that she didn't get painted blue as well. I
don't think that's it.
Are you sure? All right.
Yes.
Next one. Did either of you have repeated experiences in more than one relationship? If so, how did you make this relationship different? So this person's asking about like past experiences in the sense of like repeated toxicity. You go ahead.
I was gonna say I've had a lot of exes that like to name call, and I just the difference here is I told her straight up, you want to name call, you can go away. Mm-hmm. I'm not putting up with it anymore. I put up with it long enough. I don't get it. You can't take it back. I don't care how many times you apologize, but if you call somebody a certain thing multiple times, at some point you're going to mean it, whether you think you do or not. So that was a big thing for me. I have no idea where I found them, but they should hang out together.
They probably do.
I doubt it.
I did not. I had good relationships prior to meeting my ex before Chris, just, high school and college. So just young relationships. They just weren't productive. Those relationships just weren't going in a direction that we both wanted to go. We were just different paths. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, so my ex was the only one that was really like toxic twat waffle. So,
Florence.
Okay. How do you work through triggers together without getting upset with one another?
I mean, that's the same as the question earlier. You just talk about it.
Yeah, you really just talk about it. I mean, but I think the nuance of this question is more so like once you're triggered, like if I'm reacting, as opposed to actually like taking it in and responding, which these days I don't really react too much. I think I've done a lot better just taking it in and then responding. But if I were to just have a reaction to something that triggers me, usually I'm pretty good at taking a step back after the reaction. And I like to know why I behave certain ways, why people like to behave any kind of way, why who they are. So that's kind of how I work through things. He's very patient with me. And if I've reacted in an abnormal way or something, he'll kind of just be like, all right, what's going on? What's up? What happened here? And again, we just talk through it. So, that's how you just kind of go with it. Like no situation is the same necessarily, because once you have a trigger and you kind of work through that one, you know how to do it the next time. How did you tell him about your abusive ex? I mean, just kind of happened. Like once we started hanging out, like we talked a lot. We kind of told each other about our lives and our exes, and we had some very similar experiences. And then it was just through hanging out and getting to know each other. I remember one of the first things that really made me realize just how psychologically abusive of a relationship I was in, because I really didn't have like the full knowledge even at that point when we started dating of just how bad it actually was. But one of them was, we were laying on the couch and I had my head in your lap, and I was like, oh, just let me know when my head gets heavy.
Oh yeah.
He looks at me, he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, let me know when my head gets heavy. He's like, that's not a thing. I was like, and I was so dumbfounded because my ex would only let me put my head on his lap for a certain amount of time. And it was even just pulling tooth and nail for him to let me do that. And so anyway, so yeah, that was one of the first things I was like, oh, you mean I can lay here as long as I want? Like, that's cool. Yeah. How did you know he wasn't going to hold you to what you told him, like about your past against you?
She didn't.
Yeah, we didn't.
I mean, honestly, if I would have, then she knows to get the hell away from me.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can. I mean, I guess you can wait until you're like super comfortable with the person and then start bringing it up.
Yeah,
but at a certain point, how long is that? And then they'll be like, well, why wouldn't you tell me this sooner?
Yeah.
And if they're afraid to tell them, then they might feel like you don't trust them. Like, so that turns into a whole thing. But I mean, you obviously have to do what you feel best to with that. Like, but yeah, she didn't. Like, I could have laughed her out of their house. Like, but obviously I didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's no way to know that until you just do it.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember who said this quote, and I'm also probably going to butcher it as I say it. But one of the best things that I heard was, especially moving on from an abusive relationship or friendship or, whatever, in terms of trusting people, it's not about trusting them that they're not going to hurt you, or in this case, use your trauma against you. It's you're trusting that if they do, that you're going to be okay. That's where the healing comes in, and that's where the work comes in on yourself, is that I'm going to open myself up enough to be with this person, but if they use this against me or whatever, then I'm out. Like, it's going to suck, but I'm going to be okay without that person. Do you agree with that?
Sure.
Mentality? I don't know. So yeah. Has Chuck Liddell ever offered to fight your husband for looking like him?
Well, Yondu's going to be mad now. No, Chuck Liddell has never offered to fight me. I've never met him. I'd love to meet him. And then we can argue who's uglier. But no, I'm not fighting Chuck Liddell. Even in his age now, he'd still kick my butt. So I'd love to meet him and hang out with him, but I ain't fighting him.
Yeah. That'd be cool to meet him for sure. Was there any apprehension about things turning romantic when you two met, or did it feel right? No, we pretty much knew immediately that things were going to be romantic. So, like, when some people start dating and they become friends with somebody first before they decide to get into a romantic relationship, that's not really what we did. So, that's not what we did. We went into it with kind of a different aspect of, we've been hurt. We're not trying to get into anything serious or have any intentions of anything serious whatsoever. We just want to have fun. We just want to enjoy life. And we both had that same mentality. And so, but again, we both communicated well with another. For example, if the other was going to go on a date with someone else or whatever, we were going to communicate on that, in the sense of, we did not want, what are you looking like that for?
I thought the communication was if we were banging someone else.
Okay, well, that's the main
That's
part.
not dating.
Okay. That's important. That's important. So that's fine. Even if,
No, I thought that's what it was.
I'm sure you're right. Because really dating, that's the important part that mattered to me, was that I didn't want to be with you if you were going to be with other people, and vice versa.
Right.
Because we both agreed that we were going to continue to be dating other people, but if it was going to become serious or, whatever, that's the part of communication that we're talking about. But other people may want to know if they're going to actually also be dating someone else. So for us versus other people, whatever. So I'm rambling now. That is one of my toxic traits, is I cannot get to the fucking point a lot. So thank you for dealing with that. Anyway, so yeah, we did not plan on having it be anything but a fling at first, and then it just kind of ended in this. So that's fun. How long did it take you to get over your toxic exes?
About 17 seconds.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
there was no back and forth for me. I don't know if there was any for
no.
There was no back and forth. Once I was out.
Yeah, there was no back and forth at all. And once it was done, at no point did I ever want him back. And same there. Thing. I had questions. Like, I didn't know how I had gotten to the point that I was at. And so it was more about trying to understand how I even got in that situation in the first place. That was the situation for me. It wasn't about him. Does that make sense? Like, it was just about trying to understand the situation and the abuse more so than anything. And that, because trauma rewires your brain. Again, I'm still coming, finding things that I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that bothered me, or that I did that, or I respond this way to this. And anyway, finding out things. So not long, 17 seconds is the answer to that. Why did you start making videos? Fun. But honestly,
I don't know why she still can't make it. I don't know.
No, I've always loved psychology, and initially I wanted to help others learn about behavior. And so I actually, before skits, I actually started posting like some more educational type stuff, but I like acting. I don't even know if you would call what I do. I mean, it is acting, but it's not good. It's just fun. Um, and it's serious, but there's also some humor to it. And that's kind of just how I live my life, is that I think that we both live our lives. Like, there's time to be serious, there's a time to have some fun, and there's, you know, you want to understand your situation. I wanted to understand my situation more. I wanted to help others who were in the same situation, but also to understand that you can still acknowledge what happened in a serious way and have fun with it and turn it into something that is relatable. So that's why I started making videos, to kind of help other people, to help myself understand certain situations, and just to be creative, have creative outlet. You looking at it?
I'm looking at the screen.
You were looking up there. I didn't know if there. I didn't know if there was something up. I know there was something over there. Like, I don't know. Next one. Do you two have real jobs?
Nope.
Or are you just influencers?
I am not an influencer.
Yes. We have real jobs because we are really not influencers. I mean,
I definitely am not an influencer.
this is fun. This is great. But it does not come close to paying any kind of bills at all. So, yes, I am a personal trainer and now a counselor. And my husband is
A St. Louis County police officer.
woo woo Yondu. So, yes, I've been a trainer for 12 years. And then, again, I just graduated grad school and now I'm a counselor. There we go. How long have you been a police officer now?
6 years.
6
A
years.
little over 6.
Yeah. So super fun. And in case you're wondering, yes, he's blue all the time.
I do have the mohawk all the time.
That's true. He does have the mohawk all the time.
It's not red. It might be from now on.
It might be from now on. It's
might be my
cool.
color.
I think it is. I really like it.
Did a pretty good job painting that.
Right? Yeah. Even got in his ear holes. Like.
No, I mean the mohawk.
Yeah. But...
Shit, I was all taped up.
Were you really?
Mm-hmm. I didn't know you were doing a behind the scenes thing.
I know.
Yeah, I taped it, sprayed it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, otherwise it wouldn't look good.
Good job.
I can't do sharp edges like that with a spray can.
That would have been funny though. Okay. How do you let go of baggage? Right. Yeah. I mean, on one hand, you kind of don't. I mean, it's more so like baggage, I think of just that is your life experience. The things that happened to you are the reason why you are the way you are, but it doesn't have to hold you back from anything. You learn how to carry the load. You know, I mean, there's certain things that, yeah, you just let go. Like you figure out like, why am I still carrying this? Like, I don't need this. And you throw it down, but that you figure those things out through healing. Some things, especially when you've been abused or been through trauma, you have only so much control over, because again, trauma rewires your brain. And so as you're doing the work to rewire what's been done, that takes a lot of time. And so it's really just figuring out how to manage it and how to still live your life to an enjoyable sense, you know? So,
yeah. And I think the baggage too often comes with like a negative connotation.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you have some baggage doesn't automatically mean it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
So
Everybody has baggage.
Get rid of the negative side of it. And yeah, some of it, if you can let go of it completely, great. But some of the stuff you want to hold on to protect you from the next thing.
Right.
So you can kind of lean back on the experience. So.
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's really about knowing what your deal breakers are, because everybody has baggage. I mean, especially when you get even just getting into your late 20s. I mean, and some people even in their early 20s have all kinds of baggage, so it's like getting rid of negative connotation and just figuring out what you don't want in a relationship and the things that you are willing to be okay with. I mean, everybody's different. So, for us, we don't want kids. That's a personal choice. We do not want them. We love kids, but we also love to return them to their parents. We love our nieces and our nephew.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, but they are going home to their parents at the end of the day.
So, yeah. Or at least the next morning.
Or right, exactly. So that was our deal breaker. Like, we did not want that. Other people want and need to have kids, and that's great for them. So,
that's funny. You say you use kids as baggage.
Oh wow, that's terrible, isn't it?
That's awesome.
I'm really on today. Well, it is what it is. I mean, it is what we make it. Some people are going to be offended, and that's okay. Anyway.
Moving on.
How did you two start trusting each other after trauma? Consistency. Our dog's talking to us. Consistency of behavior. I mean, follow through. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. If you make don't. Or you don't, and I mean, you read actions.
Yep.
Actions speak louder than words. Yeah. Next one. How's the pup? Any plans for a second?
She's great. She's not real happy right now because we're ignoring her. Normally we're petting her and giving her all the love in the evening. So if she's talking to us, we would love to have a second. She would not allow it. She's super possessive, super spoiled, very jealous. Mm-hmm. And really our complex only allows us, you're only supposed to have one. So, but that's not really a rule we want to push. Right. Plus Florence would just be mad all the time. So that, no, we're not having a second.
Yeah. Not worth it. How did you know you could be yourselves? We just were.
Yeah. There again, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, she could have been like, yeah, you're an idiot, go away. But, that's pretty much how I view myself.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like we each had both changed ourselves in our previous relationships so much to try to fit the other person that, at least I don't want to speak for you, but for me, it was, I needed to figure out what I liked, what I didn't like. I used to drink beer all the time. I fucking hate beer. As soon as that relationship ended, I stopped drinking beer. I haven't drank beer in 9 years then. Yeah. So I don't like beer. So anyway, it's just that I was no longer going to compromise who I was just to be with somebody. I just got to that point.
Yep.
Same?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's that. How did you realize he was safe? Pretty much same thing. Consistency, actions speak louder than words, follow through. Just energy, vibe was totally different than anyone that had ever been with. I mean, you just was who he said he was. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Didn't have to guess. So that's how I knew. How'd you know you were safe with me?
I mean, look at her. What you gonna do? Beat me up? I mean, she's strong for a chick, but no. I mean, it's the same.
Emotionally safe.
No, I know. The same thing she said. Like, if she would have started acting like any of my exes, I would have went the other direction. Like, it's not rocket science. Just because you meet somebody and start spending time with somebody, if you see stuff that you don't want to be around or just don't want to see, leave. Like, people just, I think some people just like cling on because, oh, I had a good date, or oh, we had a good conversation, oh, they just had a bad day, so they're treating me a certain way. That happens, but when one day turns into 2 days and 2 days turns into a week, that's pattern, that's problem.
Mm-hmm.
So if she would have been like that, I would have been out. So
yeah. Well, and also I think one of the things that we both did was recognize that people will behave well for a certain period of time, and it's really looking then past that period of time. So for me, mine was a week. Max would be good for a week, or say we make changes for a week and behave very well, but after a week, behavior would change again. What? What do you want?
Florence, you're fine.
So all I had to do was wait past a week to see if the behavior would stick or not. So, yeah. Okay. Does your husband have a brother?
I do.
Happily married.
Happily married. Uglier than me. So. Way bigger than me.
Does your husband have a sister?
My husband does have a sister. Happily married. 5 kids.
5 kids. Happily married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
She's a lot prettier than him.
Oh, yeah.
She's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Next one. Okay. What are your biggest pet peeves about each other and then in general? What's your biggest, well, I mean,
I don't really have pet peeves about her. I wish she was a little neater. And what I mean by that is I can clean the kitchen, she can go have a snack, and then I have to re-clean the kitchen. And I ask them, like, how did this even get over here? And she has no idea.
Because literally, I will know that he just cleaned the kitchen. And I will try to not make a mess. I will try not to leave crumbs.
When she tries, it's worse. I don't know how. Whatever. It's not a pet peeve.
Right.
It's just,
right.
Just like,
But yeah. And I mean, he's seen me try. He's seen me make an effort to, so it's not like I'm being thoughtless and, whatever. But I don't know how to fix it, especially when I try when it makes it worse. So,
pet peeves in general. I just think most people suck. I'm sorry. Like, it just, just driving around lately with, everybody's in a hurry and everybody's at holidays and I got to get here and I got to get there. And you got idiots cutting people off. You got other idiots honking at people. You got people flipping me off out the window and I don't even know what the hell I did. And I'm like, what is wrong with people? Just calm the fuck down, everybody.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just, take that for what it is. I don't know.
Yeah. I would say my pet peeve about, well, and again, it's not really a pet peeve. Like this is probably actually more of a trigger that I'm still working on. But if I'm doing something, like if I'm loading the dishwasher, for example, and he'll come over and he'll just watch me load the dishwasher. And then I'll look at him and I'll say, what's up or what's wrong? And he'll ask, why are you putting this here? Why are you doing this here? And I was like, it fits. I don't know. He's like, well, why don't you put it here? Or why don't you put it here? And in my head, I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like it's all going in there. But in his mind, this is more efficient. And so at that point, I'll say, do you want to do it? Here you go. And most of the time, I'm like, Yeah, here, get out of the way. You know, so he means well by it. I know he does. I also know that he's just trying to give me shit about it sometimes. And again, not in a bad way. Like, but
it's not that I'm giving you crap about it. It's in my head, and I don't know why my head works. In my head, there are certain ways that are more efficient.
Oh, absolutely.
And when I see someone doing something else, I don't yell at you. I don't.
No,
like,
oh gosh, no.
Get that out of there.
No.
What have you been doing?
He doesn't approach it in a bad way whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm weird. I'm a little OCD about a few things, and it happens.
Yeah. So that again, it's not really a pet peeve, but it's just, it's. Sorry, Florence is still talking to us. But yeah, so that would be for him, and then in general, gosh, I don't know. I mean, I agree with you on the driving thing. When someone's driving and they don't know where they're going, and they just stop in the middle of and right in the lane instead of pulling off because they don't know where they're going, and they just stop, and there's a line of cars. Like, it's not just me, there's a line of cars behind, and they're just completely unaware of any other surroundings. That drives me bananas. Right? I'm throwing things. Yeah, so that's mine. Okay. Next one. How does your family get along with your partner? Great.
My family has disowned me and adopted her, so we're good.
Lies. Many lies. Families like this. This is good.
They haven't seen this.
They have not. I cannot wait to actually send a picture of this to my family. It's going to be great. How did you learn to accept, trust, healthy relationship? Learning curve. It's just a learning process. I mean, you have to just take it day by day, step by step. Healing is not linear. You have to be patient with yourself. You have to be patient with your partner. But I will say, your trauma is not an excuse to treat someone like shit. So just because you have been abused in the past does not give you the right to then verbally or psychologically abuse the next person just because they are willing to be patient with you as you work through your healing process. And I know there's some people that are going to be like, well, you shouldn't be with someone else until you heal. And I understand that. However, there's only so much healing you can do on your own before you're with someone else, because there's going to be certain triggers that pop up from simply being in a relationship, from cohabitating, from just being with another person. And you cannot work on those or really know what those are until you do start your next relationship. Right. So it's patience, understanding, communication, and comprehension of the other person. Right? Go team, go. All right. Who would win in a fight? Clint Eastwood or John Wayne?
So I'm going to say John Wayne simply because I believe he was bigger than Clint Eastwood. So they wouldn't be even be in the same weight class. I'm not fighting either one of them. Again, I don't like getting punched in the face. And if Clint Eastwood gets to bring his orangutan, it might be a different fight. Some of you are going to pick up on that. Some of you aren't. But yeah, I would go John Wayne simply because of a size thing.
I'm going to go Clint Eastwood because I know who John Wayne is. Because I know who John Wayne is, but I don't know enough about him to pick him. So I'm going to go Clint Eastwood.
That's
Yes.
funny.
Let's see. What helps the most getting into a new relationship? I don't know, just...
That's a good question. I mean, I would say getting into a relationship like this, whether not just a new relationship, but a relationship that worked, helped because, as we mentioned before, we've been ourselves throughout the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of realize, well, I mean, one, you think the other person's crazy because you're like, if I'm myself and they want to hang out with me, that person must be crazy. But so it wasn't just that like new really helped anything. It's just the new relationship, you are who you are, and then it continues to work.
Mm-hmm.
That helped more than anything because then you realize, oh crap, I don't suck as bad as that last person said.
Right. And exactly. And again, it's figuring out who you are. And that's part of the healing process before you get into a relationship is a lot of people come out of abusive relationships and they don't know who they are. They don't know what they like. They don't know what they dislike. They don't even know what foods they really like or don't like. They just have a habit of going to certain places or doing certain things because that was their routine and that's what they were told that they liked or that's the only thing that they were allowed to like or do. And so figuring out who you are, again, what you like, what you don't like, and then no longer compromising yourself for someone else. People say compromise is part of a relationship. I understand that, but you never compromise who you are as a person for a relationship. Makes sense? That makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I talk in circles, so when I actually like make a point, I have to make sure I'm there. Anyway, so figuring out who you are, being yourself authentically, that was the biggest thing. How can someone get out of a toxic relationship? You have to choose. You have to make the choice to get away. And I know what people are going to say and that it's not that easy. And I 100% understand it's not that easy. I understand. Again, I said numerous times now that trauma rewires your brain. However, you have to want change more than you're willing to stay the same. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable and to do whatever it takes to live the life that you want away from your abuser. And I know that the statistics of people's abusers coming after them, murdering them, that it's scary. That's terrifying to anyone. I'm not minimizing the risk of trying to get out of your abusive relationship. But what I'm saying is all of those women, men, whoever made the choice that they did not want to be where they were anymore. And so you have to decide where you want to be, what you want your life to be, and to want to give yourself that opportunity. I mean, I heard in one of my lives a few years ago, there was a woman who had 5 kids and she chose to be homeless, and her kids lived in some shelters and in her car because they were trying to get away from her abusive ex and their abusive father. And so that's what I mean. The choice is not easy nor convenient at all, but that's the choice they made. I'm not saying that that's a choice you have to make, but whatever choice you make, those are the risks, and that's what it's going to be. How have other relationships in your life changed since being in a healthy relationship? I have good friends. I have really good friends. And I'm more present for my friends. I have not always been the best friend in the past because of my toxic relationship. And so I have stronger connections with the friends that I have because of our relationship. You?
Yeah, I mean, I probably reconnected with some friends that I wasn't connecting with during my last relationship. Yeah.
All right. Final stretch. Kind of covered that one. What has been your biggest accomplishment since exiting your toxic relationships? Mine was going back to school, getting my master's in psychology and clinical mental health counseling, and I'm a counselor. And us getting married.
Oh, my biggest accomplishment was just becoming myself again. Like I don't worry about what anybody thinks anymore. You want to say something negative to me, I don't care. I'll walk away. You can say whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
So I know who I am, and I know I got her, so I win.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
That's weird.
Why? Winner, winner, chicken dinner?
I'm looking at my eyes.
Oh. Oh, like why is that weird?
It's like really kicking. Like you can feel it on my eyeballs, like my eyelids more. The more I move them. So you gotta keep them squinting. Did Yondu squint?
Maybe.
Okay.
Okay. What would be the number one biggest thing to ask of your new partner in order to best help you heal? We kind of covered that a little bit. Patience.
Patience and communication.
And comprehension. You can communicate all you want. Like you can say words to each other, but if you're not understanding what I'm trying to tell you.
Right, but effective communication includes that. Otherwise it's not effective. No?
Effective communication.
I don't have a master's in crap. So she wants to throw all these fancy words at me now.
All right. Yeah, I would say
patience, talk it out.
Talk it out. How can I release emotional trauma to get rid of physical weight? That's going to be different for everybody because everybody handled their trauma differently. And how it impacts your body is, again, so different for everybody. So when some people are stressed or going through it, they eat a lot, or when their cortisol shoots up, you gain a lot of weight in wherever your body gains weight. In order to release it, you may have to have a nutritionist involved, doctors involved, because it may depend on your hormone levels. It may depend on how much exercise you're getting. It may depend on what type of foods you're eating and what type of food or, you eat could be determined if you have an autoimmune disease or, there's so many factors involved with that. I think I would need to know more about the person that asked this question specifically in order to best answer this question. Right? Because it's so different.
Yeah, because everybody's going to be different in that 100%. It could be all hormonal. It could all just be mental. It could be 100 different things. So,
yeah. How do you deal with the anxiety of meeting potentially another abuser? We kind of covered that also. You have to trust that as you start dating, that even if it doesn't work out, or you end up dating someone who, with that 3-4 month mark, that you see the switch, that you're willing to walk away, that you love yourself enough to no longer make excuses for someone else's behavior. Because we all want to be loved, we all want love, we all want to find that healthy relationship, but we can't compromise ourselves any longer. And you have to be more confident in that as you start dating. That's what I would say. You just have to trust that if you run into that situation, how are you going to handle it? Have a game plan going in. If I end up in this situation, XYZ. Talk about the relief you felt when you realized you no longer have to deal with toxic twat waffle. Amazing. Wonderful. Knowing that I was with somebody, or that I'm with somebody who is never going to treat me like that, is a sigh of relief. But also understanding that it takes a while to get there, because when you've been abused, you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. So it's like, again, actions speak louder than words. So the longer we've been together, the more I trusted that that's never going to happen with him. And that was just amazing. About you?
Oh, I didn't have any relief. I had the relief came to me when I walked out the door. Like there wasn't any dealing with another person like that. I just wasn't going to happen. So relief for me is when I decided, hey, this is it. That was it for me.
Yeah. Last couple questions. All right. Best part of your relationship?
Why is she looking at me?
I want to hear your answer.
You go first.
You go first. I'm looking at you.
We enjoy spending time with each other. Golfing. Even though she kicks my butt most of the time. I mean, the best part about the whole relationship is we can be ourselves and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, that's it. Like, if you can be yourself and the other person is like, oh, what, I want to be with this, like, you can't ask for anything else. Like, you could be shit poor, and as long as you're with the person that accepts you for however you are, I mean, you win.
Yeah. 100% what he said. I can be myself, and I'm super weird. So I found my weirdo. He let me paint him blue. So yes, that's the best part of our relationship. We can be ourselves and unapologetically, and it's wonderful. Recap highs and lows of this past year.
Highs, cruise.
Yeah.
Took a cruise.
Yeah, that was awesome.
A Windstar cruise to the Virgin Islands.
That was amazing.
That was awesome.
Highly recommend.
It's a smaller cruise line, so it's not like the big boats. It's a small boat, so
Yeah.
it was fun. Her going through her getting done with school, that's always a good thing.
Done.
I get to go. I'm finally feeling better, so I get to go back to work. So that's a good thing.
Yep.
Our dog didn't get hurt at all this year. She had a good year. She had a few allergic reactions that we had to deal with, but we've got it all figured out, and she's doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah, neither one of us got COVID. So that's a positive. If that's even a thing anymore, I'm not sure.
Yes, it is.
I don't pay attention.
It's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. That's about it for me.
Yeah. I would say, honestly, all the things that he said, and the I don't really any low. I mean, really, the lows for me just would have been
true lows. I guess we should talk about. They did say highs and lows, and I'm just over here bragging. My bad. I'm sorry.
I would say the lows for me were more so, just the stress and chaos of this year before graduation, like starting my internship, working full time, having my class, like, and then trying to do this stuff, and just, it was a lot. It was a lot. There were some breakdowns, and he was so amazing, just always willing to help, and picking up slack where I was just slacking. And but he never complained once, and you've just been awesome. So thank you for that. I really appreciate you, and I love you. But yeah, those really the only lows, I think.
I mean, low for me, I would say like mid-year, I didn't think I was going to be able to go back to work. Like my pain was so bad, so constant, just nothing I did was helping.
I don't think we've ever told them about your back.
Yeah, this is good enough.
Yeah.
So that was definitely my low of the year, just because I'm like, crap, what am I going to do? I'm not old enough to retire, but I'm in so much pain I can't really do anything. And yeah, I just kept working with my doctors. I got some awesome doctors, and now, like we said earlier, now another high for me is I get to go back to work. So
yeah,
good deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, seeing him in pain, and that was absolutely low. That was not good.
Yeah.
But then the highs were the same. Graduating, cruise.
Cruise is awesome.
Cruise was so great. Yeah, and then now we're gonna be ringing in the new year. So much fun. But anyway,
election year, everybody's favorite.
It's still 2023. We're not talking about any of that. It is not 2024. We are not talking about that. Anyways, that was all of your questions. So thank you all for being here. And now you have it. Blue, Yondu, squinting, not squinting. Yes. You have You have Santa, Yondu. So now we've officially painted in blue. It's awesome. Be so cool if Michael Rooker saw this. I doubt he will, but that'd be cool. That'd be friggin' awesome. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for everything that you do in healing, helping others, watching this channel, and just being awesome.
Have a great holiday and a happy new year.
Merry Christmas, happy new year.
Watching.
Yeah, please.
Who knows what color I'll be next year?
We're doing this again. Painting you a different color. All right.
Guess we'll find
Tim,
out.
We'll give you a poll on what color you want him to be next time.
I don't know what, orange?
All of the colors. All of the colors.
What is it? Rainbow butterfly kitten something? What is that thing?
Rainbow butterfly unicorn kitten?
Yeah, the rainbow butterfly unicorn kitten. Maybe we'll figure that one out.
Oh, dear. It's going to be great. Okay, bye.